Okay, so this will be the Envelope Distort demo video. Go ahead and download the Envelope Distort text demo file. It's an AI file. You'll find that in our current week, so go ahead and download that. Mine automatically will open up here in Illustrator. So this is what the file looks like. There's a couple boxes and kind of an eye shape, Wonka text, and a final idea here. So go ahead and take the box text and make it a little bit bigger. I made it 21 points. And then put that underneath. So bring it over, put it on top of the box. I'm not quite sure which one's on top. I think this is actually, the text is on top. So we actually want to do an arrange in the properties panel. You might have to scroll down to find it. Arrange, send to back. So it's behind the box shape. Click and drag to get both selected. You can see they're both selected now, and then we can go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. And you can see the box text did fill in the box shape. Not the best example though. Let's try again with this other text. I'm not going to change the shape on it this time. Let's just go ahead and arrange that in the Properties panel, Send to Back. Make sure it's behind the shape. Click and drag over both the text box and the shape. Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. So you can see a little bit better what's going on with that one. The Wonka text, let's see, I do have a text, type of text in here called Barracuda Pro. If you don't have this, you could look for it online. That's the font that I used for Wonka. So let's go ahead and put this in Barracuda Pro, and I can show you, we can look this up. Or maybe font. This is how you, I spelled it wrong, but let's see, it is maybe an Adobe font. So you could use Adobe fonts to find that. You can also turn it on if you are. You can activate the font here. You'll have to sign in to your Adobe account to do that, to activate it there. You can also do it by going in here, find more, and then just looking for Barracuda Pro in here. Mine's kind of still thinking, but if you go into the Find More and type in Barracuda here, this is the Adobe Fonts area. If you want to get back to your regular font list, you go here. But so we can actually if you know how to spell it, that is. But you can type it in there and then activate it by clicking on the cloud. So I'm not going to do that though. But if you need to, you guys can do that. Click, bring it over here, and then let's go ahead and do Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. So it looks okay. It didn't really do the job that I wanted it to do, but there's actually a way to make this work that is a little bit more custom, so you can really control how it ends up looking. So the top Make with Top Object, Envelope Distort is good for like basic shapes, but for something that's a little bit more advanced, let's go to let's see, Object, Envelope Distort, same place, but Make with Mesh. And this is where we can actually control things a lot more custom. So rows and columns, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 this way. But actually, I found 2 and 2. 2 rows, 2 columns work best for this. It should look like this. And then push OK. And so we can use the white arrow tool to actually change the shape of this text. Sometimes you might have to zoom in. I would suggest zooming in quite a bit and pushing Shift on your keyboard and clicking on the anchor point to open it. It'll turn white when it's open. And then we can move that in. And we can grab the handles coming off those anchor points and make them more, I don't know, eye-shaped, basically. So let's really bring this middle line up. And we'll kind of change the anchors a little bit on both sides. We need to make this more narrow. If it's not moving for you, like I said, do the Shift click. Sometimes you can just grab them and they'll move without any trouble, and then sometimes when you try to do it, if you push Shift as you're moving them too, it'll keep it more in a straight line, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to try that again. This one kind of got wonky, so I'm going to push shift down the whole time when I'm moving it, and it'll keep it completely straight when I'm moving it instead of it kind of going to the left or right, which you might want to try pushing shift when you're moving these things so that they don't get crazy on you. Push shift here, oops, Command Z, shift and click. Sometimes you have to shift click. Okay, we'll do that. I'm going to make this one wider. I'm going to bring this handle out so that it's more of an eye shape. I'm going to narrow this down much like the eye shape, pushing shift, and something like that. So I've got a pretty good eye shape. I'm going to bring this in even more, bring this out even more. So there we have a really custom eye shape. Our A got a little weird. We could always do an image trace on that and smooth it out with the smooth tool, or use the delete anchor point underneath the pen tool to get rid of some of those lumps and bumps. But for the most part, this is looking very much like the eye that we have. So we can actually bring that one to front. Object, arrange, bring to front. Sometimes it won't show up over here. Oops. And then let's double click and let's make this font white. I knew some of the people in class were having a hard time selecting the font. It can be a little tricky, but if you go up in the upper left corner and then do your clicking with the text tool, you'll have a little bit more luck than if you're clicking down in here to get the text selected. And sometimes you'll get into that area where you have to kind of back out of it up here. Okay, so let's use the free transform tool, push shift, and then just size this up to fill the eye up a little bit. Yeah, the A got a little weird on this one. But like I said, you could always do an image trace if you needed to. But for the demo purposes, this is looking decent. Then we can actually put this... Actually, I didn't want that text white. Sorry, guys. We want it black. Okay. Get out of here, back out. Okay. So we've got, you know, this shape here. And that should be enough for this demo. If you can get that distorted to fit the shape decently, that will be good enough using an envelope distort. Make with mesh, and then these two should be made with top object. Envelope distort, make with top object. This is, you know, the final product. You know, we would make a Wonka chocolate with two W's on either end logo. So this is great for logo designs in something that you might be able to work on to bring into some of your other projects too, such as like the mural design project potentially. So there's some other projects too that you could potentially use this effect in as well. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Oh, and for a grade, just download this, just file save to save your changes, and just upload that into Brightspace for a grade. You don't need to necessarily change the name. If you want to, you can put your first name, but if you don't, that's fine. I just want the AI file for a grade in Brightspace.